Yeah, absolutely. It was just nice to see Gibby kind of get back out there and do what we've expected, from with all the work that this guy's put in. He looked like the number one today. Pretty good offense over there, and 6 innings, 8 punch-outs, only the 1 walk. Obviously much better his last outing, and hopefully we'll carry that on into the rest of his starts throughout the year. But he kind of set the tone, honestly, from the very beginning, just attacking these guys and pitched really well.
You know, how important is it for your team to learn how to win games in a myriad of ways?
Yeah, we talked about it, and obviously Solak got a pitch in the middle that he did damage on, but we knew this guy was going to be good. First inning goes out and strikes out the side. But I think just I kind of said it to the guys in the beginning, like it's going to take a few jam shots and possibly some broken bats to win the game today. And it's funny how that kind of works out. Leote's jam shot to right field ended up being the game winner. So that's how you got to be gritty, man. If you're going to be good quality pitching, like you can't give in. You got to keep fighting, and 1 run obviously won the game today.
Thank you, Woody.
Jeff.
What was the adjustment Kyle made from Thursday to today?
I don't know if it was more of an adjustment or it might have been just an opening day thing. Obviously he's been really good all spring, kind of like he was today. He never really got comfortable, I guess, in that first game and couldn't really recover. The 3 I think the first 3 pitches of that outing, 2 ground ball hits and then the 3 walks, I think just kind of derailed him at that point. But today you could see it from pitch 1. Obviously got the first pitch out and then, punched out the next 2 guys. But just quality pitches. I mean, this is what he's been doing all spring training. So today to kind of relax and go out and execute his pitches, and this is what we expected.
With the exception of opening day, your starting pitching's been pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, we were excited coming into the year, obviously, and I still think it's going to be a strength of ours, like a huge strength of ours is our pitching staff, especially on the starting side. Like, these guys can pitch. They got good stuff. You look at Fulte, I mean, Arahara pitched really well. Jordan Lyles was lights out. These guys are good. Dunning pitched really well yesterday, and then Gibby, backs it up today. I think it's just a matter of, sometimes early in the season, getting guys, like their feet wet a little bit, just getting an outing under their belt. You can see it with some of our relievers. You can see Spores today looked a lot more comfortable. Sometimes early in the season, you have 0 stats, and you're hoping to get off to a good start. And unfortunately for pitchers, sometimes it kind of derails the whole year at times. But our guys kind of obviously battle back. And I think a few outings by, obviously Jordan kind of set the tone. And honestly, DeGus, Rule 5 kid, kind of just put everybody's mind at ease and said, hey, we can go out and execute. We can go out and pound the zone and get these guys out. And I think it's obviously carrying over to every start now.
All right, thanks.
Sam.
I'm curious what you think kind of like makes Ian Kennedy a good closer. Obviously, it just seems like it's pretty comfortable up there.
Yeah, he has no fear. I think he's been around a long time. He actually, we've had a lot of conversations about that since we signed him. He loves it. I mean, he loves having the ball in his hand in that moment. He doesn't shy away from it. He's always been, obviously a strike thrower. But I think out of the bullpen, his fastball plays up. He can just kind of go back and let it rip. Whereas as a starter, he kind of had to, pace himself a little bit and not really go, max effort every pitch. But as a closer, he can come out and, just blow the doors off of the opposing hitter, and he loves it. I think that's where his biggest strength is he loves having the ball in those situations.
Oh, obviously he's never really been, at least I don't think, kind of an ace leader of the staff. But what kind of gave you confidence that was the right role for him? And is this a start like this kind of validate maybe that decision and what he can do?
Yeah, I think he did it. Obviously, a couple years ago he did close and did a good job with it. And then just talking to him, just hearing how much he
I was talking about Kyle. Sorry.
Oh, you're talking about Gibby.
Yeah, sorry. I was
okay.
Kind of being an ace and what it's not necessarily something he's done, but what kind of gave you that, confidence in him to validate that?
Yeah, I mean, I think today obviously validates that he's got to do it every time, and I think that's, he's in really good shape right now. Like his arm's in good shape, his body, his mechanics, everything. He's got a real good, obviously, mentality. He learned a lot from that opening day. And like I said, I'm going to chalk that up to just opening day weirdness. This is what we were expecting. Just quality pitches with good stuff. His sinker's back to what it used to be. His slider's much better than it was last year. he's made improvements, and now he's got that attack mentality to go right after these guys.
Levi.
I talked about Ian fastball, and I didn't have time to look it up between when I saw this number on the screen and talking to you, but was he always at 95, I think was the number I saw?
As a closer, yes. I think as a starter, no. As a starter, it's probably 92, 95. But as a closer, he can just let it rip every pitch. He has that in the tank, but as a starter, you can't go max effort for 100 pitches. Some guys can, but
Right.
I don't think he did. Throughout his career, but you always lose a little bit as a starting pitcher throughout the year. It's hard to maintain that kind of velo. But as a closer, you're a one-inning guy. You can come in and just let it rip. And I think that's the last couple of years, that's what he's done.
That's all I have for now. Thanks.
Okay, Daniel.
Oh, hi, Chris. Leody Taveras had RBI today, his first of the season. What does that kind of do for him to get things going?
Yeah, you know what, this kid, I know he hasn't gotten up to the start he would like, but he's still walking around, working hard, smiling, and we're obviously wrapping arms around him, making sure that he understands like it's about the work, it's about sticking with his processes and his work in the cages, in his BP, and then trusting that that's going to carry over at some point. And he's had confidence. You could tell, like I said, he wasn't having the results he wanted, but today to get a big hit and it wasn't a home run. It was a jam shot base hit to right field that ended up winning us the game. And this is what I keep telling these guys, especially our young guys. You're not always going to feel great, but if we can battle and grind and win games like we did today, if we have to break a bat to win it, we do that. And that's what we did today. And obviously he's a big part of that.
And then Kyle Gibson bouncing back from that opening day start. Kind of what message does that send to the younger pitchers on this staff of not, of being able to move on from the last start and pick things up?
Yeah, I think it's we've had a few guys that had maybe a rough outing, or Spores doing the same thing. Had a tough outing last time, come back and gets a 1-2-3 today. But for the starting staff and our entire staff, it's like we're not going to be perfect at times. We're going to have rough times. We're going to have bad games as an offense, and we're going to have tough games from the pitching side. But we have to bounce back. We can't let it snowball into something that's becomes an issue over 2 or 3 starts. And he obviously came back today and righted the ship. But it speaks volumes to the rest of those guys in the clubhouse for sure.
Thank you, Chris.
Alex.
Woody, I'm just curious about how the shadows take place later in the game. Is that something, and something that Kiner kind of brought up on Monday too, is that becoming sort of a problem, especially this month?
It is tough for day games. I will say it's a lot easier to see at night. You don't have the shadows. The background's pretty bright. That's something that our hitters are. Hopefully, the more we see it, we get used to it, and it creates a little bit of an advantage for us because we're used to it. And then opposing teams come in, they can't see the ball. It's specific pitches, really. I mean, they're down in the zone, or these guys can tell you probably more than I can. But it does create a little bit of an issue, which it does in most parks. Around that time, you get around the 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock time, shadows start creeping in. It makes it difficult. So it's on our guys to know, okay, what pitches can you see and what can't you see, and not give in, but create a game plan around that.
Now, reversed on that, as far as the pitching staff goes, is that a message that maybe the pitching staff can use to their advantage, knowing the backdrop?
100%, and we talk about it. Our catchers definitely let our pitchers know, hey, it's really tough to see the slider, or it's really tough to see the curveball, or maybe balls up or down, elevated fastballs is tough to see. And then, if you tunnel certain pitches off of that, it's near impossible for some guys. That needs to be said to our pitchers so they know, obviously, they can use that to their advantage against the opposing guys.
Appreciate it, Woody. Thank you.
Couple more. We'll go to John Moore.
Hey, Chris. So, in the first 6 games, basically in every aspect, this team has performed a lot better than we've seen the last year and the year before that. You couldn't ask for much more with what, the way they're working the counts and all of that. Is there any aspect, whether it's starting pitching, relief, defense, that you feel there's one part that needs more work than anything? You'd still like to see some more improvement?
No, I think in every way. I think there's obviously a few things today that we, Leody bunting to first instead of third. Sometimes execution from the staff continuing to attack. There's a lot of things, obviously, that we're constantly trying to improve. I think that those are things that are critical to good teams. We expect to be a lot better, in 2 weeks' time, in a month's time, in 2 months' time than we are right now. And I think that's on us as a staff. That's on us, them as players, to hold each other accountable. And listen, we want to live, we want to hold each other to the highest standards possible. And it's a grind. I mean, that's something that our guys love to talk about. They love talking shop. They love talking about things that we can adjust and get better at and improve on. And that's how we're going to improve, is that ability for our players to understand that and, love that they want to talk about these things every day.
And so there is no one aspect that you're like, of all of them, I'd really like to see a bigger
No.
improvement there.
I don't think so. I think, overall, I feel like we played pretty good baseball. We could definitely improve in every area. Defense, we've had our games where, it's been good, and then other games where it's been just okay. We're addressing it all.
We'll go to Jeff. Last question. We'll bring in Kyle Gibson and Nick Solak after that. Go ahead, Jeff.
So when Nick Solak is going good, it seems like he is getting going, but getting the ball to all fields, is the left-handed power, or the power to left, full-side power, is that a good sign too?
That is a good sign, especially against, I know that Ryu doesn't throw 100 miles an hour, but he's tough to pull because his changeup is so good. You usually pull him on the ground, so to turn around, one of his cutter or fastballs you don't see it too often. So yes, it's a really good sign. I know Soli usually thinks about right center all the time, hammering balls all over the field, but we needed that one. That kind of got us jump started today.